Hello, I'm Steve Weber, the host of Beatles Rewind. Good afternoon, everybody. It's October 28th, 2025.
Oh.
As always, I'm joined by my co-host and fellow Beatlemanic, Cassandra. Cassandra, can you turn down your Spotify for a sec? Turn on your mic.
Hi, Steve. I'm ready. Go.
Okay, today we're focusing on one single song, If I Fell. It wasn't about a physical thing of falling down. It was about falling in love. Written, of course, by Lennon and McCartney. Welcome back.
Mm-hmm.
So today we're doing a deep dive, really getting into just one track, If I Fell.
Mm-hmm.
We've got all this great research you sent over, and our goal really is to unpack it. We want to get past just thinking of it as, another hit from 64.
Right, because it's so much more than that. It's got this incredible sophistication, vulnerability.
Exactly. And that lyrical complexity,
Okay.
it stands apart.
It really does. I mean, think about what else was happening that year. You had these huge, high-energy hits, right? She Loves You, I Want to Hold Your Hand. Pure adrenaline.
Totally. Maximum pop velocity, like you said.
But then comes If I Fell on the A Hard Day's Night album, and it's almost the opposite. It's quieter, much more intricate.
Uh-huh.
And that's the key thing, I think. It's them signaling quite deliberately, okay, we're moving into something deeper now, more introspection, more complex writing.
That's the hook for you listening right there, isn't it? They weren't just churning out hits. They were actually starting to define what maturity could sound like in pop music.
Absolutely.
So let's dig into how this sort of structural leap happened. It says Lennon-McCartney, obviously, but the consensus is it's mostly John.
Yeah, pretty much everyone agrees on that. And John himself, he labeled it perfectly. He called it his first attempt at a ballad proper.
A ballad proper. What did he mean by proper there? Not just slow?
No, not just slow. He meant complex, emotionally weighty. He actually saw it, as a direct line from their early work towards the really complex, almost literary stuff they did later. Think In My Life.
Oh, okay. So he saw the connection even then.
Seems like it. And the setting where he wrote it is kind of interesting, too. It wasn't in the studio rush.
Right. They were in Paris, George Vide Hotel.
That's what the reports say, yeah. Back in early 64, maybe that little break from the Beatlemania whirlwind gave him the space for something different, more introspective.
Makes sense. A pause in the chaos.
And you can sort of feel that. John brought the main tune, the words, those interesting chord changes we need to talk about.
And his own life seems tied up in it, too. He called it semi-autobiographical.
Yeah, but not consciously, which is classic Lennon, isn't it? Suggests that the whole theme, the risk, the messy relationships, it came from somewhere real, maybe things going on in his marriage then.
So John provides the core, the angst, maybe, but Paul added something specific, structurally.
Yes, exactly. Paul apparently claimed credit for that very distinct introduction, that little bit at the start that doesn't come back.
The pre-verse, you called it. Why is that little bit so significant?
Well, it frames the whole song, doesn't it? It's almost like a formal announcement before the main part starts. It feels tentative.
Okay.
And it reminds me a bit of those old standards Paul loved, the Great American Songbook stuff. They often had these distinct intros setting the scene.
Ah, I see. So it elevates it immediately.
Totally. It turns it from just singing a song into more of a conversation, almost.
Okay.
John brings the raw feeling, and Paul adds the sort of elegant gateway into it.
And that combination, that blend, it must have told people straight away, okay, these guys are playing a different game now.
No question. It signaled a new level of sophistication for the partnership.
Okay, let's shift to the lyrics then, because this is where, as you said, they really ditch the simple yeah stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The whole song is like a question, isn't it?
It really is. It's all conditional. If I fell, would you promise? It's like a negotiation before jumping in. A huge ask, emotionally.
Yeah. Would you promise to be true and help me understand?
And you feel the narrator's fear right away, because I couldn't stand the pain.
Oof.
So this isn't some wide-eyed first love thing. This person's been hurt before. They're testing the waters really carefully. It's incredibly mature for pop music back then.
And then comes the line that, wow, it just changes everything. It adds this whole other layer of drama.
You mean?
That you would love me more than her.
Yes. Her. That one word.
Suddenly it's not just about fear of pain, it's about a triangle.
Exactly. It introduces this whole complex emotional situation, an existing relationship, clearly. It adds this melancholy, this ambiguity.
Which makes the semi-autobiographical thing feel even more real.
Right. It makes the whole fragile if of the song incredibly poignant. It wasn't just generic pop sentiment. It was rooted in something potentially messy and real. Revolutionary for a single in '64.
Was there any pushback, though? I mean, compared to the rock and roll energy they were known for, this is pretty soft, maybe.
Well, maybe some initial surprise, but the quality just shone through, I think. And they kind of owned the shift themselves, didn't they?
Oh, so?
With that other amazing line, the one where they seem to comment on their own journey.
Oh, you mean?
And I found that love was more than just holding hands.
Huh. Yes. That's just brilliant self-awareness. They're literally referencing their own massive hit.
Precisely. A direct nod back to, I want to hold your hand. It's like they're saying to you, the listener, look, we know that song was huge, but we've moved on. Love's deeper than that.
Wow. That's incredibly subtle, but so powerful, signaling their own growth.
Without being heavy-handed about it, just woven right in.
So the lyrics lay out this emotional tightrope walk, and the music absolutely supports it. We have to talk about those harmonies.
Oh, yeah. The Lennon-McCartney harmony blend is just legendary here. So tight, so intimate.
You can hear that Everly Brothers influence they talked about.
Definitely. And apparently they really work to get that sound, sometimes singing into the same microphone, forcing that blend.
Wow. And the roles are specific too, aren't they? John takes the lower part.
Yeah. Generally, John's got the lower melody line in the main song, and Paul's singing that higher sort of counter melody harmony above him. Pulls it upwards.
Well, wait, doesn't John sing the very first bit alone?
He does. That very first line in the intro, if I fell in love with you, that's just John, solo.
Why do that?
Well, think about it. It makes that initial vulnerability feel incredibly direct, almost like a whisper just for you. Then Paul comes in with the harmony, and the full complexity starts.
Ah, that mirrors the tentative lyrics perfectly.
Uh,
Starting alone, then bringing in the partner.
Exactly. It's a really clever arrangement choice.
Okay, let's get a bit technical, because the chords are key to this being a proper ballad, right? It's not your standard rock and roll progression.
Not at all. Standard early rock might be, 3, maybe 4 basic chords. Simple, driving. This is way more complex.
Especially that intro section Paul supposedly helped us.
Yes! That's where the most striking thing happens musically. The sources point out this really bold key change. It starts, that little pre-verse, in E-flat minor.
E-flat minor. Sounds kind of moody, complex already.
It is. And then, bam. For the main verse, it suddenly drops down half step to D major.
A half step down. From E-flat minor to D major.
Yep. It's quite a dramatic shift. Unexpected. Almost make you feel like, like you're falling, musically.
Whoa. So it sonically represents the risk.
That's the idea. It immediately tells your ears, pay attention, this isn't just verse-chorus verse.
Yeah.
It's designed to convey that tricky emotional state.
That's fascinating. And then the main part of the song uses a more traditional structure.
Yeah, the main verses and bridge follow that classic AABA form.
Okay, remind us AAB is.
Verse, verse, bridge, verse. Think of the old Tin Pan Alley songs, the standards by composers like Rodgers and Hammerstein, Irving Berlin. That was their bread and butter.
So Lennon's deliberately using that older, more formal structure.
Seems like it. It's another sign he was trying to move beyond the perceived limits of rock and roll songwriting, showing they could master those forms, too. Real ambition there.
And all this complexity, the vocals, the chords, it works because the arrangement is kept quite simple, right?
Absolutely. It had to be sparse to let the vocals and the melodies shine. They recorded it pretty quickly, actually. February 27th, 1964, 15 takes.
And the instruments are mostly acoustic.
Pretty much. John's on acoustic rhythm guitar, Paul's on bass, Ringo's drums are very light, very subtle, and George adds these lovely little electric guitar fills, but they don't dominate.
The focus is all on that vocal interplay.
Completely. It's all about creating space for that delicate exchange.
And even the final mix plays into this. There's a difference between the mono and stereo versions.
A really interesting one, yeah. It shows how much thought went into the final sound. The original mono mix, the one most people heard first on the single.
Yeah.
That one has John's opening solo line as just a single track. Raw, upfront, vulnerable, like he's right there confessing to you.
Okay, and the stereo.
The stereo mix, which often came later, uses a double-tracked vocal on that same opening line.
Meaning they recorded his voice twice and layered it.
Exactly. And it just subtly smooths it out, rounds the edges a bit, makes it slightly less stark, maybe? Still beautiful, but the raw edge of the mono version is slightly softened.
So even the mixing choice reflects the song's fragility.
It really does. It shows how every detail mattered in capturing that specific feeling.
Wow. So from writing it in Paris to that E-flat minor drop, the whole Love Me More Than Her, Bombshell, the one mic harmonies, the mix differences. It really is an understated masterpiece, isn't it?
Totally. And absolutely crucial if you want to understand how fast Lennon and the band as a whole were evolving.
Okay, so here's a thought to leave you with. We see this huge leap in emotional honesty and if I fell, acknowledging pain, complex relationships. It's personal stuff making its way directly into the music.
Mm-hmm.
So think about where they go next.
Mm.
What happens when the next big life event hits them or the next major creative pressure point? How much faster will they start pulling in even heavier themes, maybe more political stuff, more psychedelic ideas? It makes you wonder how quickly things will escalate from here.
It certainly sets the stage.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Whenever you feel like knowing more about the Beatles, visit us at BeatlesRewind.com. Every day, we do something new there. Cass, we'll do it again tomorrow.
We're well for now.
Until next time.
When you listen, your mind conducts its own symphony.